So Lori, thank you so much for joining us today. Very excited to talk about a tribute concert to your father. But before we talk about the concert, I want to talk a little bit about your dad.
Yes.
Lou Colombo, such a renowned jazz musician, really nationally renowned jazz musician. So tell us a little bit about your dad.
Oh my gosh. Dad was just an all-encompassing kind of a figure. He not only was such a natural musician, and you talk to anyone that knows anything about music, and his ear was just stunning, his ability to just play in all forums, in all kinds of music, jazz, classical included. But he was just a fun-loving, very open-hearted person that was very approachable, very accessible. So my experience in getting to hear people's stories and memories and what people have shared with me, because I actually work where Dad was featured for about 30 years at the Roadhouse Cafe, stories abound with just delight of how he remembered people's favorite songs. He had played generations of weddings, bar mitzvahs, everything. So he was all around. He was the kind of person that you would want to be with, that he was fun-loving, very giving of his time, of his musical mastery, everything. He was just a lot of fun.
And when you're talking about him giving back, I have heard so many stories about how he was really involved with the young people in our community and really helping them along in their music careers and encouraging them to continue in music.
Sarah, there are so many people locally, I can't even begin, people that he mentored that are prominent now and have been touched by his mentorship. And so that was a big part of what Dad did. He could recognize when there was a spark of love or talent in someone very young and bring them up, you know, to the bandstand, to be part of a group, to see how they did and how they would shine. So he was very big into that wherever he went, you know, whether it was into an assisted living place unannounced, going from room to room with his little pocket trumpet, just playing songs to the folks there, or out at the Yarmouth dump, believe it, of all places. He would bring his trumpet and serenade people, and the memories just are everywhere you go, literally, whether it's at Stop and Shop or the local cobbler. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's that kind of an experience for me, and I'm sure my other brothers and sisters as well.
Well, and so many people in our community are lucky to have benefited from that passion that he
Absolutely,
had.
absolutely.
You know, and you actually want to continue that mission.
That's right, Sarah.
You want to continue to reach out to the young people in our community through a foundation. Talk to me about the Lou Colombo Music Fund.
Yeah, when Dad passed, you know, my brother David, the owner of Roadhouse, you know, he thought it a good idea to be affiliated with a foundation that was a nonprofit that would help us for future grow funds and funding for music education, which is so critical right now to address on Cape Cod. So we established that, and this was actually the first tribute that has come up since the time of that establishing of that fund. Since then, Dennis Yarmouth Regional High School just last year received funding for private mentorship and lessons of their young aspiring instrumentalist vocalists with local professionals and teachers. They wouldn't otherwise have been able to afford that private one-on-one instruction, which has allowed them, these students, to learn about their style. Being one-on-one with a professional helps them really zero in on what they need to work on, improve their sense of confidence. So that has been incredibly beneficial to these students. So this is an open forum for all schools all over the Cape to be able to have more funding for the specific needs of their music students.
Right, because we know music can be very expensive to participate. Instruments are expensive, lessons are expensive.
That's right.
It all adds up, and so it would be terrible for a child not to be able to participate in music if they just didn't have the funds.
That's
so awesome that you have founded this charity to really help increase funds for that.
Thank you so much. It just leads the way for other schools to get involved and want to grow it in whatever way, whatever creative way that they think possible for their school, which is just, we're open to that. It's fabulous.
Wonderful. Well, I want to talk too, before I let you go, we got to talk about the tribute concert, because there is a tribute concert coming up, a tribute to Lou Colombo. This is going to be held Tuesday, June 13th at Barnstable High School. Correct. Talk to me about how this concert came about.
Well, you know, it was last year, 1 year ago, when I got an email from a young student that was, I think, the president of the Triumph Honor Music Society at Barnstable High School. And Isabel had already gotten a date in August of last summer, and had gone forward to a point for the planning of this. And when I heard about it, I just was so curious as to what drove her and what motivated her to want to do this. So I never actually got to meet her, and I know that I will be able to meet her at the tribute. But what happened was there was a group of students who wanted to be a part of a greater thing for their society, and wanted to do something. So they chose this tribute for my father. And the timing wasn't quite right. I thought in June is better, before that July 4 crunch, before that summer season
really
craziness.
Takes full swing.
And so we decided with Barnstable High School on board to do it on the 13th of June, which seemed a good day of the week. And that way we can bring a lot of people on board. And this features some outstanding musicians, vocalists that have worked with Dad over the years, over the decades. Everyone from the Roadhouse Jazz Band to the very famous Grace Sargent, Marshall Wood, Donna Byrne, who are with the Tony Bennett Band currently, have been for a long time. The only grandchild of my dad, who is a great French horn player, and he's got a master's from NEC. He'll be performing along with those people that have been mentored from Dad, Barry and Judy DeRossi, who have a music school, very active in New Bedford. Our local Kareem Sanjaki, everyone knows the wonder and beauty of Kareem and his good things that he does for the community. And as well, we've got, who else? Other than Ty Newcomb in the Cape Cod Conservatory Jazz Band, which will be a very exciting band, and some others that are going to be here present. Steve Ahern, great trumpetist, trombonist, Dan Fox. We want to have as many great people that have been affiliated with Dad, over the years as possible.
Well, when you're listing the names of the people that are going to be at this concert, it sounds so amazing, and what a great night to witness some really cool music. The live music, there's nothing better than live music. And I was looking down at the sheet to find out how much tickets are. Because as you're talking, I'm like, this is going to be a really great show.
Yes, it will.
This must be a very expensive show. I looked down. You're charging $10 for tickets. So this is a really awesome opportunity for our community to have a great night out, really enjoy some fabulous live music, and at the same time know they're doing something good to help local young musicians here on the Cape.
Well, this is the bottom of it all. Really, the main theme of it is music is the heartbeat of life, which I believe really encapsulated Dad's whole feeling about music. It was his life. And for a lot of students, yet possibly very unknown to us, there are those students out there, those potential aspiring musicians that have yet to discover that spark of what drives them and what could be their passion for life. So it is important to look at music education as being a vehicle, for that, for a lot of students that may otherwise not have the opportunity. And there could be another Lou Colombo out there somewhere, Sarah. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Dad was a prodigy. He was really very rare in what he did and who he was. And someone out there has got to be out there that is similar to Dad, I believe, you know. And so with music education, you're more likely to find it, you know. And the possibility for that.
Well, what a passionate mission and a goal you have. Thank you so much for joining us, telling us everything. You know, I so enjoyed learning about your father and learning about the tribute to Lou Colombo. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
It's such a pleasure to be here.
You as well. Thank you so much. My guest today was vocalist Lori Columbo.